All right, we are live. I'm so glad we're not having technical difficulties. It is a Monday night. Welcome back, everybody. Welcome back from your weekend. And I don't know how your weekend went, but my weekend went great. I showed you, I uploaded a video today, so you guys might have seen. I got my ear pierced. Finally, I got the cartilage. So I already had my ears. And so this time I got cartilage, my ear cartilage pierced, and I'm very excited about that. Hey Rosemary, hello Diacritical and X Shadow. You know what? Let me share this on YouTube. Also, if anybody wants to watch it on YouTube, we are live on the Hive. I know some of you said that you don't want to be spoiled, and I feel bad because then there are viewers that I will be alienating with the spoilers. And I feel bad to do that. But definitely... Okay, so I'm thinking maybe I'll start off in the beginning without spoilers, okay? So that the people who want to watch the beginning, and then I'll tell you when I'm about to give spoilers. So if anybody wants to watch the beginning, they can watch it, and then, and then they can watch the rest of it later after they watch the Joker movie. All right. I'm gonna start with just my general thoughts and then warn you when the spoilers are coming. Join us live for my Joker. Alright. Hey Twitch. Hey Twitch person. What up, what up, what up? Hey Twitch. Hey David. Welcome to my live stream. I am so honored. I will try not to give any spoilers. No spoilers. Thank you for complimenting my piercing. It's so tiny, so eventually I'm gonna get a bigger one. I don't know if you can tell. It's really small. So if you're wondering why I have a bow right now, it's because there's something about when my hair is down, it keeps getting stuck, and I'm not really supposed to get anything stuck in the earrings. So this keeps my my hair up. All right. Hey, I'm glad you like my live stream. I'm glad you're here. Today, I was on my way home. So by the way, some of you have seen my vlog from today because I posted on YouTube. So anyone who's on YouTube will have seen my vlog from this weekend. If you haven't seen my vlog from the weekend, go over my YouTube page. It's the most recent from Pardes vlog live, Pardes vlog playlist. It's the most recent video on my Pardes vlog playlist, so you can see this vlog I did about what I did this weekend, and it was including getting my piercing, and you'll see my friend Leia, you'll see all the fun things. And so today I came home from whatever I was doing, and then on my way home I was passing by a movie theater, and I was like, you know what, I really want to watch Joker, and there's no one here in this area to watch Joker with me this late at night, so I'm gonna go watch it by myself. And then I watched it and I was like, oh my god, I have so many thoughts. THOTS. And I decided to talk about it on the live stream tonight. This is definitely an elephant in the painting right above me. And, I just always wanted to acknowledge the elephant in the room, so that was so cheesy. That was so corny. Okay. So Bart says, piercings, joke, David, Joker, David, Buster's, part of spending money like a millionaire. Oh yeah. I'm just, So, alright. One thing that I noticed coming out of the theater, I heard other people talking about the movie, and the thing that I noticed from people saying was, this one girl was saying, I felt like I can relate. And that's a very interesting recurring theme in the movie, being able to relate. I personally felt like I could relate a lot to the main character, who is the Joker. And I'm trying to be really careful to not give any spoilers. But anyway, I felt like I could really, really connect to the Joker. He is this guy who is just having everything in life being thrown at him and being called crazy, and thinking that he's crazy, but then going back and forth between, am I crazy? And no, my world is crazy. There's a line that he says when he meets when he finally meets his hero in the movie. There's a line he says. By the way, I wrote this stuff down while I was watching the movie because I was like, I'm gonna tell you guys about this. So I was like on my phone. Everyone thought I was texting. I was just like writing it down because I wanted to tell you guys about it afterwards. So he says, everybody is awful these days. It's enough to make everybody crazy. So the idea is, maybe I'm not crazy. Maybe my situation is crazy. Maybe the world is crazy. But maybe I'm crazy. So he goes back and forth between that. And I think a lot of people do that. Like, so many of my friends do that. I've had so many of my friends tell me, just in the past week, so many of my close friends that I think are pretty damn awesome and pretty normal, they'll be like, yeah, I think I'm crazy. I think I have mental problems. Whatever. So these little things in the movie, this guy having these human feelings that you can relate to, you just start to sympathize with the main character, who, by the way, is crazy, but you really, really, really do sympathize with the main character. Acumen J says, you do realize he portrayed an alter ego fantasy action hero, right? The truth is, I don't know a lot about fantasy action heroes. I really don't. So I'm just telling you from a total perspective of an outsider. I'm just telling you from the perspective of somebody who doesn't know anything. Kevin Smith says, hello, wanted to stop in and say hi, I'm off to work. What kind of work are you doing so late at night? Good luck at work, and thank you for stopping by. Dan says, great movie, I laughed a lot too. I laughed also, but then I thought I was crazy for laughing. Someone is asking if I watched the Canadian debate. I did not watch Canadian debate. By the way, I'm just getting some tea. Putting some honey in my tea. Thanks for the compliment on my bow. I'll make sure to wear it every day. Alright. So people talk about, the truth is I didn't even read the reviews because I was like, I don't even want to see the reviews because I don't even want any sort of spoiler, because I knew for sure that I was going to go watch it. I was like, I'm going to watch it. I don't want anyone's opinions. Part of the reason why I was so happy to go and watch it by myself is because I just wanted nobody's opinions. I didn't want anyone influencing me in my head about what I should think about it. So I didn't read any reviews, no opinions, but I did see stuff on Twitter, which people were saying that the Joker is Trump, and the movie is all about Trump. So I don't know. I don't know if I would actually say that. It didn't seem like it. The only thing I saw that was alluding to Trump, the only thing that Okay, I'll tell you. So the thing that I noticed was in the crowd when there's what is considered a spoiler, by the way? Spoiler is like telling you the ending, right? Because I don't want to do a spoiler, but I also want to tell you about about the movie. Okay, so anyway, okay, so this guy has everybody in his life betraying him, okay? Felix says the film can be interpreted two ways depending on what you think of Thomas Wayne. Wayne is either the good guy or the bad guy. Okay, so here, I don't know anything about Thomas Wayne. I don't know anything about the background of the movie. So it's like you're basically getting Joker from somebody who knows absolutely nothing about the background. Totally face value. I watched it from an outsider's perspective, and like, this is what I saw. I saw a lot of I just saw a lot about mental illness, to be honest. That's like the immediate thing. I was just thinking about it the whole time. I was thinking about mental illness and the way that people think about it. So this guy has been abused his whole life, okay? B-Spill says, Bruce Wayne is Batman, though. Yes, that I knew, and actually, Bruce in the movie, you see towards the end. Is this a spoiler? I honestly don't. This is really like just, okay, if it feels like I'm giving spoilers, tell me so I can tell everybody to like close their eyes or their ears or like just not watch this. But Bruce Wayne does appear in the movie. Bruce Wayne is the little boy. Okay, I know what the spoilers are. I won't tell you the spoilers. Bruce Wayne is a little boy, okay? Bruce Wayne is a little boy in the movie. He's Thomas Wayne's son, okay? And he's in the movie. I won't tell you the rest of it. No, I know that Bruce Wayne being Batman is not the spoiler. Okay, I know that. I knew that. Bruce Wayne is the little boy in the movie, and it's so interesting that Ben MJ says the road to evil is more cut and dry. The Joker is easy. The road to becoming a good person is more disguised, more erratic. Doesn't make good TV. Doesn't make for good TV. Okay. Guys. Okay. Oh my god. I really don't know what the spoilers are. If you are worried that I will leak spoilers, then don't watch this, because I probably will. Because I don't know like what's considered spoiler, because I don't know the background on the Joker. I just know what I saw. So don't watch this anymore. If you're worried about spoilers, don't. Okay, so throughout the movie, common theme, mental illness. There is a common theme of there was a common theme of, someone mentioned like populism. I mean, I would say just like civil unrest, people being frustrated with the system and wanting to rebel against the system, and wanting to overthrow the mayor and wanting to just get riled up, and they need like a leader, someone to bring them out of their despair. People are having trouble with jobs, or there's the social welfare system just gets shut down. So this guy, he's like, he can't get his meds anymore because the government was providing him with his meds, and so he's basically dependent on the government. Now the government's suddenly shutting that down. He doesn't have anywhere to get his medication or even his therapist or whatever. And so like all this crazy, crazy upheaval in society. And you see like this as a common theme throughout the movie. Wherever he is, he's in the elevator, and in the elevator it says like, FUCK the system. I'm not saying it out because I don't want to demonetize the video, but you see this as a common theme. Someone asked me what I thought about De Niro in the movie. I love De Niro. I love De Niro in every movie. I think he does a great job. And Valiser says, I think there's something in the movie that says why Joker laughs. Guys, I think you're trolling me. I feel like you guys are trolling me. Because I think you people are trolling me. So it's not my fault I didn't know the background. Spoiler alert, Robert De Niro's in the movie. Okay, so there's a common theme of people wanting to rise up against the system. The Joker ends up becoming their hero because the Joker is he's not even thinking about other people. He's in his own personal hell, and he's rising up against the system in his mind, in his little hell, okay? And he becomes a symbol for other people. So he's not doing it in order to help other people rise up and get other people to go, and he's just someone who's doing his thing, and other people can relate to that. Other people are like, wait, I feel the same way that he does. I feel the same way he does. He is the one taking action, and he's basically an extension of them. He becomes their voice without intending to be. So he's kind of like a symptom, even though he in his own, he would have been crazy anyway, but like, meaning the system didn't necessarily produce him. He had a personal troubled past, right? He had his mom had like an abusive boyfriend. He was abused as a child. His mom, he finds out that, she's not his real mom, and she's she lied to him and all this stuff, and they like all this stuff that happens in his childhood that makes him the way that he is. So he's not necessarily a symptom of the system itself, but he's like a symbol for the system, for the uprising again. So becoming the hero is a symptom of the system, if that makes sense, okay? Someone's asking what we're talking about here. We're talking about mooses. We're talking about the Joker, okay? Because that's the movie, and that's the main character, okay? So, another thing is, like, this guy does legitimately have... Okay, someone says a spoiler. Guys, this is a spoiler, okay? Someone says the best part of the movie is his gun falling out of his pocket in the children's hospital. That was actually that was, like, interesting. Because he also, like, he does make it look like part of the act. Also, like, the line between good and evil sometimes seem blurred when you start to relate to the main character. Sometimes we start to get confused. Like, oh, well, this person is unfortunate. This person had a troubled past. This person had just a crazy life and bad things happening to them. And so that starts to screw with our head. We start to think, wow, like, maybe this person isn't a bad person. This person is just troubled. And so that's another thing in the movie. I mean, this guy is crazy. He kills a bunch of people, including his mom. He kills a bunch of people, including his mom. He kills, he does do a lot of damage, okay? Including the woman that he loves, and possibly her child. I don't know. But he's basically just a crazy, crazy, crazy person. But somehow when we watch the movie, we can relate to him. Like, we're like, I mean, I don't know about you, but when I watch the movie, I'm just like, oh, but I feel so bad for him, and I feel like I know how he feels. You know what I mean? Even though, I mean, I don't have any, okay, even though I'm not crazy at that extreme, you know, I've never had thoughts about hurting anybody, but it's like, I know how he feels. And a lot of people I noticed in that theater were thinking the same thing. And so that's when the line between good and evil gets blurred, because we don't look at the outcome. We look at, you know, well, this person is having trouble or whatever. So there's a few quotes in here that I thought was interesting. One was, he's writing down in his diary. The worst part about having a mental illness is that everybody expects you to behave as if you don't. That was very interesting to me, and that was another theme of the story. It was just a lot of, it's just about being guarded. You know, this guy is wearing, you know, the Joker, in his happy state, he's wearing a mask. His mask is basically a drawn smile on his face. It's a drawn smile. It's like, even if he's sad and crying, he's always gonna have a smile on his face. He has a laughing condition. He has a Felix says I wouldn't get it. Oh, yes, he says you would. He has a laughing, and I'll tell you what Felix is saying. But so he has a laughing condition. He just laughing all the time, and it's because of this neurological condition that he laughs in inappropriate situations. Rosemary says Tourette's. It's basically he can't express the right emotions at the right times. So he's just like, you know, he's just really sad, and he's just like, and he's like laughing, but he really should be crying. But it's just, he can't express the emotions at the right time. And by the way, like, I've had that for the longest time, and I still, like, I remember when my cousin passed away, he was, like, 23, and I remember hearing the news and literally burst out laughing. And I do that sometimes, and I know a lot of people do that, where, like, they just can't, and I haven't really done it recently. I feel like it's kind of, I don't really do that now. But in the past, I've done that before, where, like, you're just so overwhelmed with this crazy emotion, and it's like your body is trying to relieve yourself of it, and almost like you can't, or like when it's hard, you know, some people find it difficult to cry. I find it really easy now to cry because I've been going to therapy for years. I'm always crying. So, like, anything can make me cry. But a lot of people have it difficult to cry. So in just really, because they're always hiding their emotions, it's part of the theme of Mask. So when they do experience something really crazy, they will laugh. Not on purpose. Valister says, I laughed at the dentist when they gassed me with nitrous oxide. So another quote in it was like, men who wear masks are cowards. So you notice that the whole movement, they're all wearing masks. You know, all the people, like, he basically what happens is, like, he kills 3 people on the train. It was like these guys were like sexually they were harassing this girl on the train. He sees them, and actually you look at that and you're like, wow, what a good guy. He sees them and he distracts them so the girl can run away, okay? And then they come up to him and they start bullying him. Why are you laughing? And they're like these 3 rich white boys in suits. And they're like, why are you laughing? What's so funny? What's so funny? And this is also a classic theme. And, you know, what's so funny? So I'll get to that. But so they're basically beating him down, and they're beating him down, and when he can't take it anymore, when he's being beaten so badly and he might get killed, he takes the gun from that was in his pocket and he shoots them, all of them, and they all die. And that's how he becomes like the symbol, because people see that there was a guy in a clown mask who killed 3 rich boys, 3 rich white boys, and they're like, yeah, you know, like, he becomes their hero because they're like the people uprising against the system, which they see the system as being run by rich white people. So basically they're like, yeah, and it's almost kind of scary the way these people are revering this man who's literally like a psychopath killer. But there's so much unrest that, like, to them he's their savior, and they're all wearing masks, and they're all like, and so it also kind of reminds me of a lot of, just in general, a lot of like activist movements across the world are led by people wearing masks, and a big theme in the movie is people who wear masks are cowards. So a lot of people wearing masks, they don't want to hide, they don't want to show their emotion. And so that reminded me of Antifa, among a lot of other like different activist groups. Antifa, I don't know, KKK wore masks, they wore like the hoods on their face. A lot of different groups that wear hoods cover their faces, right? Today, actually, I was complaining about how in Washington, D.C., people are walking around with masks. They're just so guarded all the time, not just in Washington, D.C., in general in politics, which is also why I had to get out of it a little bit. Like, people are just constantly wearing masks, figuratively, you know? They're just, it's just so hard for people to show emotions. Nobody wants to be vulnerable, and so instead of being open about who they are, being open with the world, they're just always in attack mode. Instead of letting themselves be vulnerable to the world and showing their vulnerable side and showing true emotion, love, fear, sadness, whatever, they're constantly in attack mode. They're just ready to attack people. I hate this world. I hate this political world. It's just, they're just constantly just, yeah, anyway. Okay, so what Felix was talking about. Hey XLY. Alright, so okay, so what Felix was saying. Felix was saying what he was alluding to. Okay, there's like this recurring quote in the movie where like he will have a laughing attack. He can't control himself. He's just laughing like, and then someone will be like, "What's so funny?" Okay, and he will say, I was just thinking of a joke." And then the other person will say, "Well, what is it? Or want to tell me the joke?" He says, "You'll never get it." And so that's, you'll never get it. And another thing is, it's interesting because he is a comedian. He goes to this, like, he's a comedian. All right, I'm just licking my hand, but I don't want to be like, ugh. He is a comedian, and he's making people laugh, but he doesn't actually say things that are funny. It's just he says things and it's funny because he's saying them. So he's like, in a way, he's more a clown than a comedian, because comedians actually say they've got content that's funny. It's like the like comedians often have scriptwriters, because the scriptwriters will come up with jokes and whatever, and people will say it and it's funny. But with clowns, it's different, because clowns are inherently, their being is funny. People are not laughing with them, people are laughing at them. Like, the clown can go up on stage, not even have the intention of being funny, and they're just funny, and like people will just laugh at them because they are just so weird, so bizarre. Like, even if they say something totally serious, it just looks funny and people will laugh, thinking that maybe thinking that that person is doing it on purpose, but or they just don't, or just, you know, this person is crazy but it's still making me laugh. And so the Joker does that. A lot of comedians are actually, in my view, a lot of comedians are clowns. A lot of comedians are... Have you noticed that people who are really funny, okay, have you noticed that people who are really funny tend to have had very, very dark pasts, or tend to have mental problems? And when I say mental problems, I'm not saying like, oh, they're crazy. I mean, you know, a lot of us have mental problems. You know, either like just really bad depression, or I don't know, just mental problems in general. And comedy, and just in general, a lot of artists have mental problems, and so art, things that make them happy, is kind of like bringing them out of their sadness. Okay, Nate says, Pardes, you're confusing stand-up comics with late night hosts. A late night host has writers. Yes, you're right. Not stand-up comics. You're right. But stand-up comics, a lot of them will like memorize their jokes. Felix says bipolar is more common with comedians. So here is two reasons why. Here's why I think comedians have the ability, two reasons why comedians and artists in general have the ability to make people happy, or to connect with people in a way that nobody else can. So first of all, artists. If you have a really, really, really troubled mind, the thing that's going to get you out of that, whatever you produce that's enough to get your mind out of that place, is going to be it's gonna have to do a lot of work. It's gonna have to be really, really good to get your mind out of that place. So the more troubled an artist is, the more effective their art will have to be to get them out of their place, or to get them to where they want to be. And so that's why that's why they make such good art. But the thing with comedians, the darker the mind of a comedian is, the more relief he or she has to get from whatever it is that he's saying, or like from their own comedy. So they're going to be funnier. They're just, yeah, the relief, the comic relief is going to have to be bigger. Another thing is that people with really dark minds are not different people. They're not like a different species. They're not like, oh, those people are crazy. They're just on the spectrum. We're all on the spectrum of a mix of human emotions. So they just might, somebody with a darker mind might, or like mental illness. Oftentimes people with mental illness will have experienced a wider range of emotions than you've experienced. So they can really speak to a varying level of emotions and to connect to other people because they have such a grasp of all these different emotions that maybe other people might not have. TLH says, in quotes, they pretend it don't be like they like it do, but it is. Yeah, in a way, people with mental illnesses are more intuitive than the rest of the population because they've had to do more emotional work to get themselves, to be at a normal state, or at, There's so many great quotes in the movie, and I didn't write them down. There's so many great quotes in the movie. If anyone hasn't watched it, first of all, you should not be watching this because this is a bunch of spoilers. But if anyone has not watched it, definitely watch it. I definitely recommend. Actually, there aren't a lot of spoilers in this, right? There aren't a lot of spoilers. Boogaloo Bob says, the Pardes show is immeasurably better than anything on television. Thank you, Boogaloo Bob. Thank you. Oops. This, by the way, this live stream I started doing literally because I was like depressed and lonely. Like I would come home and I'd be like, yeah. This was like, also like I had broken up with my ex at some point when I started, some point around that. So it was the thing that like I'd come home and I'd do this. It was like my diary. I had so much fun. And then now people are watching. It feels amazing. This is just a side note. Okay, definitely watch it. Definitely watch it. All right. Felix is asking which comedians I like. I can't remember right now, but like Dave Chappelle. I really like David Chappelle. I also really like, this isn't a comedian, but you know that movie Fleabag? I like the girl in that movie Fleabag because she's so like dark. But it's kind of funny. I really like the show. That Fleabag is a show. Scream Queens is pretty funny, although Scream Queens is more like a chick flick type of thing. Alright. So this guy, he kills people. People are saying like, oh yeah, like the film, I mean, before I watched the film, people were like, yeah, the film is all about, like, you know, gun control and whatever. But honestly, when I watched the film, I didn't see that as a theme at all. This guy, he had his first few murders were because he had a gun. He didn't get his gun legally. He got his gun from his friend. Okay, he got a gun from his friend. He asked his friend to get him a gun. His friend did, and then his friend went and told on him, and then his gun accidentally fell out of his pocket when he was at the children's hospital, because he would make children laugh at the children's hospital because that was his job. He was a joke. He was a clown, and so his boss at the clown agency finds out that he had a gun, and it fell out of his pocket, and so he gets fired for that. And so that night, okay, he's like, you know, on the train, he's really sad, he's really depressed, and this whole thing happens with the 3 boys, and then he shoots them. So that's his first murder, okay? And, alright. I'm just reading your thoughts, Okay, so the guy who, those murders were done with a gun that he had in his pocket, that it was available to him but also even that, like, he was using it in self-defense. It wasn't like he was like, oh, I'm crazy, so I'm gonna go shoot a bunch of people. He was actually using it in self-defense. They were attacking him. They could have killed him. He was using it in self-defense, okay? But the other murders weren't necessarily with guns. Actually, I can't remember. Well, the murder at the end was with a gun. That was a bad murder. But the other murders weren't all with guns. One murder was with a pair of scissors. He uses it as a knife to stab the guy, and then I'm not gonna describe the whole thing because it's really, really bad. And then another murder was done with a pillow. Spoiler alert, when he kills his mom with a pillow. He like suffocates his mom while she's on her hospital bed. He suffocates her with a pillow because he was mad that she didn't tell her that he was adopted. She didn't tell him that he was adopted. And then another murder, we know that he murdered the girl that he was in love with, but we don't know how. So another thing is, like, this guy is not going around murdering random people. Well, he did murder the 3 guys on the train, but that's only because they were attacking him. Joker. Guys, if you didn't watch the movie, okay? It says, I'd rather be in bed, but I'm already in bed. So, okay, so he doesn't, what was I saying? Okay, so those 3 guys in the beginning the 3 first murders were just random people, but the rest of the murders were actually people that he loved. You know what I mean? Like, the people that he hurt the most, that he shot and killed, were the people that he actually admired, and felt betrayed by. He didn't kill all the people he loved throughout the movie. He killed people that he loved and felt betrayed by. Like his mother. He loved his mother. He took care of her every day until she died, which was the day that he killed her. He took care of her, he loved her, but then he finds out that she's adopted and he kills her. Okay? Or, the guy who ratted him out to his boss. He was his friend. He thought that he thought his friend cared about him, whatever, but then his friend ratted him out to his boss and he felt betrayed. So he kills that friend in a very disgusting, gruesome way. Or his hero, who's played by Robert De Niro the hero. His hero, who's the late night show host character in the movie, who looks up to so much, and he's always just dreamed of being on this man's show. And then finally the day comes and he's on the show, and De Niro is ridiculing him, the character played by De Niro, and he doesn't even remember that, like, because the first time the Joker is on De Niro's character show, De Niro's character is Muri. What was the last name? Robert Muri? No, Muri something. So anyway, was it Muri? I don't know. Okay, so anyway, so the late night talk show host, played by De Niro, the Joker, Muri Francis, yes, Muri Francis. So he was on his show in the audience. He was on a show in the audience, and Muri Francis, calls him up and says, like, you're such a great, I would kill to have a son like you. Like, I mean, I would give anything up to have a son like you. And he gives him so much love. And so this guy is just like, wow, this is like a father figure. I love this guy. He watches the show every night. He's such a huge fan. And then someone films him trying to do comedy at a stand-up, at a bar. And then that video goes viral because people think it's so ridiculous. And then it's sent to that was a dream. Okay, that wasn't real. That only happens in his head. Okay, never mind. So he didn't actually get called up by the doc. So that's like another thing. He dreams a lot of the stuff that doesn't actually happen. Murray Franklin, he dreams about a lot of stuff that doesn't actually happen. And so he loves this guy. He thinks this guy is his hero. He's like his celebrity. It's like when you're just in love with a celebrity and someone famous, and you think they're like the best thing that happened in the world, and you're just like in love with them, and then you meet them in person and they disappoint you. And you're just like, die, scum, because you just had them on a pedestal. You had such high hopes for them. And then they disappoint you. And then you feel betrayed. So that's what happens here. And the other thing is, like, with the woman that he's in love with. This woman who's like his neighbor, he becomes in love with her, and he imagines her being around with him. In the beginning, I'm just like, when I see the girl, he's making out with this girl, and the girl's there for her when his mom is having a stroke, and she's there for him. She's there for him, and she's played by a black girl. She's like really sweet, and then just like, you're just watching, you're just like, why would she be with him? How does she get this girl? And then later on, because she's like young and pretty and everything, and then later on you realize, okay, that was just in his head. He was only with her in his mind. And then when he does show up at her apartment, when he does show up there like a creep sitting on her couch, and she's like, what are you doing here? You need to leave. Then he feels betrayed because she's not the person that she was in his mind. Alright, a lot of people are talking about interracial relationships in this film. Nate says, can we break the fifth wall? There's another Hollywood movie that prompted interracial relationships. That prompted interracial relationships. 1 second. I'm going to look through your comments in here. Hey Joe. Nate says, this is another Hollywood movie that promoted interracial relationships. If the Joker was this crappy of a person, he would most likely be racist. But hey. Joe says, I'm late, phone was on side. Hey Joe, welcome Joe. Okay, Joe hasn't watched the movie yet, so we can't do spoilers. But I already gave all the spoilers, so It's fine. I already gave all the spoilers, so you won't get a spoiler. And thank you. Okay, no spoilers for Joe. Yeah, Felix says, I thought the lady was a total babe. Thank you, Joe. Thanks for the super chats. It is. I'm very happy that we got those parts over. Felix says that the girl is a babe, and she really is. She's pretty and she's cute, and you're just like, throughout the movie, you're just like, why would he be with him? Because in his, thank you, Boogaloo Bob. And you're just like, in the movie, Boogaloo Bob says, Boogaloo Bob is making a spoiler for Joe. Joe, don't read it. Don't read Boogaloo Bob's spoiler. Close your eyes. Boogaloo Bob's spoiler message is in bright blue. Okay, so if you're watching this on Periscope, it's super chats. That's what the super chats look like. They get lit up in colors. So apparently there's a controversy about like who killed Bruce Wayne's parents. Okay. Gosh, guys. So I honestly don't think that the movie is about, like, I don't think that the unrest has to do with race. I don't think there's like racial unrest. It really doesn't seem like it. It seems, honestly to me, it seems a lot like, kind of sounds like Antifa. The way that all these people are wearing masks and they're going in the streets or causing riots. You know, they're really upset. F the system. It doesn't seem at all like, it doesn't seem like a racial thing. It seems more of just like, you know, people being, you know, people having financial problems or like problems in society and stuff like that. That's what it seems more like. All right. Other thing, you know, he has to be guarded all the time. He has to have a happy face all the time. Even when his mouth was bleeding and he couldn't, you know, he didn't have that smile painted on. He couldn't, to his fans, he couldn't look at them and them seeing that he doesn't have a smiley face on. He like turns his back on them. He takes the blood from his mouth. He like wipes it on his face so that he still has a Joker smile. And then he turns around to face them so they can see that. Joe says it's not racial yet because the mainstream media hasn't instructed the social justice warriors to be mad about it yet. Yeah, we don't even see what's going on in the mainstream. Like, you would expect that they would show that more. The mainstream media isn't really showed a lot in the movie. There's just, you know, the news that this guy, you know, killed 3 people. Okay. Nobody's civil anymore. He says nobody's civil anymore. Nobody thinks what it's like to be the other guy. And alright. Another thing I wondered is, like, didn't they have security in the place where Robert De Niro's character was? He like literally just brought a gun in there and shot people. Okay. Alright. Fizzle says he was just like Jesus in the end. Fizzle said in Batman it was a robber, not Joker. Okay. All right. So, all right, that's it about Joker. And I can't think of anything else I wanted to say about that, to be honest. I just liked the theme. I love when people mix. I felt like I could relate to it a lot. I love the theme of, like, you know, mixing just sadness with, like, happy face, you know? Just so much grief, and he can't cry. He's just laughing. And even, like, at the end of the movie, there's, like, this happy song playing, and it's the happy song, you know, this happy song that is playing says something, you know, in a happy voice, like, I'm gonna roll myself in a big ball and die, my. Um, that's like a common theme also. Okay. All right. Okay. One second. Okay. Fizzle says, I don't recommend depressed people watch this or listen to Lana Del Rey. They will jump off a bridge. Oh my gosh. I was literally thinking about Lana Del Rey when I watched the movie. How did you think about that? Is it like our minds the same? I was literally thinking about Lana Del Rey. Lana Del Rey sings. It's just, yeah. Lana Del Rey's lyrics are ridiculous, and they make me laugh because they're, like, so depressing, but she sings it in, like, this weird, like, lovey-dovey voice. My favorite thing is singing awful lyrics in a happy voice. Like, that's my favorite genre. Okay. So, I just wanted to share something with you since we're talking about depression and loneliness. And so I wanted to share something with you that just tonight, before I watched a movie, before all that, I had texted my friend who lives in a different country. I said, do you ever feel lonely living by yourself in a different country? I said, I do all the time. I don't even live by myself. Don't even live in a different country. I honestly just don't know how people do it. I'm just not used to it. I said, my friends are doing it too. I don't know how they're doing it either. It's like this whole different level of being an adult. Everyone's doing it. It looks so easy. Alright, what else did I say? And I constantly need to be around other people in order to not feel lonely. But I don't feel like that when I'm vlogging or live streaming. So someone is asking if it's the Italian professor. Nope, not the professor. Just, yeah. Anyways, so I was asking my friend about this stuff, just, having a hard time. And the fact that I was able to ask a friend about this means that I'm not lonely, because I'm able to talk to somebody about it. Really being lonely means you don't have anyone to talk to about it. But, someone is distracting me. So Boogaloo Bob is saying the lyrics. So if you're not on YouTube, you won't understand what I'm saying. Boogaloo Bob is actually saying the lyrics to a song that someone made. Maybe Boogaloo Bob made it, or someone else made it. Oh, sorry, maybe Boogaloo Bob is the one who made it. Basically, the song online on YouTube that's called Pardes looks like Jerry Seinfeld. So he's reading the lyrics. He goes, I'm depressed and lonely, and I want to die because I don't have Pardes as a girlfriend, and if I had met her, I would, not say anything. I would just keep walking. So funny. What Bob is saying, he's not just saying random words, he's saying the lyrics to the song. Pardes looks like Jerry Seinfeld. Look it up on YouTube. It's kind of funny, actually. It's pretty funny. The song that someone made about me, either Boogaloo Bob or somebody else. Not Boogaloo Bob if it's the same account, if it's a different account. So Felix says, imagine how lonely people with speech problems feel. They can't even express how lonely they feel. So what I was saying to my friend is there isn't any reason for me to feel lonely. Everyone's doing it. Everybody is alone. And in fact, with me, I have so many people that I can turn to. And why is it that every second that I'm not... Oh, it is Boogaloo Bob. Guys, go and watch the YouTube video. It's pretty funny. It's not a video, it's a song. But I was like, why is it that I'm just lonely all the time, even though that I have no reason to be lonely? It's any second that I'm not around somebody, I'm just depressed and lonely, and what's wrong with me? And the answer that he gave actually was really helpful, so I'm going to read it to you. Alright. So I asked if you feel lonely in a different country. He says, no, I felt lonely what should have been considered my home. I hadn't yet learned to enjoy my own company. I didn't know the joys of self-improvement. Once I moved to the place where he moved, it was the most permanent I had settled in a long time. I built a network. I also learned to be alone. Quote, most of us can, as we wish, make of this world either a palace or a prison. It's all in your mind. You're lonely in your mind. Because technically, if there's another person within miles, you can walk over to where that other person is and try to strike up a conversation with them. You're never going to be really alone. There will always be some way that you can connect with another human being. This isn't a hard guarantee. This is just most likely. You're most likely not going to be alone physically, or if you can't communicate in some way, there's going to be a way for you to try, unless you're on an island and nobody knows you're there. But a lot of it is just that we're trapped in our own minds. He says you need to learn that you and your default setting aren't incomplete. You have everything that you need in order to be 100%. Always. The extra stuff is just that extra. It's nice, but not necessary. If you lose a boyfriend, for example, you didn't really lose anything. You just didn't gain anything. You're back to the 100% you were before you met him. there is an alternate universe out there where you never met him and you considered yourself 100% anyway, regardless. The only thing you come into this world with is the very same thing that you'll go out with, and the only thing you'll have all the way through, just you. So work on polishing yourself, because you have to be around yourself a lot longer than anyone else. Quote, "A ship is safest when in harbor, but that's not what ships were built for." He says our generation as a whole feels like this. Feels like, I'm always lonely even if I'm around other people. Because, what am I doing? Our generation feels like this because we've been taught and conditioned to. No other precious generation felt this, just us. We're anomalous in that regard, and it's because of our own need to feel special, because of our innate solipsism. I don't even know what that word means. We're infantilized from a young age. It's why we feel like we'll never own a house. We feel like we're still in our teens and mid-20s. Why we can't do our taxes, why we can't do our taxes, but we know irrelevant shit like Pythagoras' theorem. Boogaloo Bob is drunk right now. Try and get as much information out of Boogaloo Bob as possible. What you feel is a tendency towards codependency, and you're not wrong to feel it. The trick is to counter it by developing the only cure known to man for it, which is independence. All right. I just thought that was really helpful. I really thought that was helpful. And I'm watching some of your comments, and they're stop commenting so fast. I can't read everybody's comments. Felix says, Pardes, do you view your life and emotions through the lens of other people, feeling like everybody else has it better? I find a lot of people feel like that. So, I don't, by the way, I should say where I'm reading this. I'm reading this on YouTube. I actually read the YouTube comments more just because it's clearer. But I don't feel like anybody has it. I don't feel like anybody has it better. I just feel like people are doing it better than I'm doing it. Does that make sense? So, I don't feel like I have any reason to be lonely, but in fact, I think to myself, most people have been doing this longer than I've been doing this. They know they know how to be by themselves without freaking out. And they actually probably don't have as many contacts that I have. So why do I still feel like this? And so it really is just in my head. I don't think that people have it. I don't think that people have it better than I do, because that would mean that I'm, there's, yeah, anyway. TLH says, if we're mentally healthy, we can thrive in every situation, alone in a big city, big family in a small house, monk alone in mountains, rich, broke. Our experience is created by our mind. Felix says, happiness is created by what you create. Boogaloo Bob says, I'm not that healthy. That's why you create good rap. That's why you create good music. Artists, the greatest artists, are not mentally healthy. Alright. Okay. Okay. And, alright, and then one more thing first of all, another thing that I noticed is that men have it a lot harder because, a lot of it is just, like, being able to just become in tune with your emotions. It's really hard for men because the older you get as a man, the less, socially acceptable it is. In a lot of societies, not necessarily, but in a lot of societies, the less socially acceptable it is to be emotional and be able to express yourself in a vulnerable way. And with women, it's less like that. With women, we aren't as pressured to be like perfect. You know what I mean? With our emotions, we're actually encouraged to, and we look more like innocent, so people are willing to come and give us that love and attention more than they might with a guy. And so that's something that I think is much harder on men. If you haven't received that sort of love and compassion when you're a child, you're gonna have to put extra effort to go and find it in the world, because you need it to survive, you need it to have functional relationships, you need it to not feel bad about yourself and to be able to succeed in the world. You need to somehow either teach yourself to give yourself that love, to be your own parent, or get it enough from someone else that it's almost like, making up for it. But it's much harder when you're a guy, because women tend to have a little bit of the same quality that children have, which is like, they just look more innocent and whatever, and you want to go and give them love. So they get it more easily. So I think that's like a big thing, because I think it's harder for men, definitely. Bart says, I get mine from all my piercings. You get your love from all your piercings? Okay. Lord Farquaad is bored, says bye. Bye, Lord Farquaad. Okay. Alright. That's it for tonight. That's it, everybody. Hope you have a wonderful evening. I love you all so much, and I really mean it, like, a lot. I get such really good feedback from people, and, but it's, like, heartfelt. It feels real, and, yeah. Anyway, see you all tomorrow night. Always let me know your thoughts. Tell me what you want to talk about the next video, tell me what you want to see in my edited vlogs, which are twice a week. Tell me what you want me to make fun of. I love doing this, and I want to do that. Okay? No more hours tonight. Come back tomorrow night. Regular live stream. Okay? And like this video. And subscribe to my YouTube channel. 760 Will says following. Thank you. Come over to YouTube and subscribe to my YouTube channel. And like the video. And see you all